Hey everyone. So I love to cook, and Melanie and I, after we got married, we decided that that would become my job, cooking, and her job would become cleaning. And I got to tell you, I got the better part of that deal because I'm a sloppy, messy cook. But the other thing about cooking that I find really difficult is deciding what to cook. I mean, I try to make sure that I've got healthy things that I'm cooking. And of course, ribs may not be the most healthy thing, but oftentimes I try to find a way to cook healthy, lots of vegetables, that kind of stuff. One of the problems though that I have with cooking is out here in the kitchen, there are all kinds of distractions like Pringles and other things that I find myself cooking a really healthy meal, and then the next thing I know, I'm sitting here snacking on junk food. And as I was thinking about a devotional to do for this week, I ran across this passage of scripture that I remember actually from high school, because we had a goofy song that we used to sing to this passage of scripture. But it related to food, but not really. So the passage comes from Isaiah 55, and it says this. It says, "O everyone that thirst, come to the water. And you that have no money, come buy, eat. Come buy wine and milk without money and without price. Why do you spend your money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which does not satisfy? Listen carefully to me, and eat what is good, and delight yourself in rich foods." Now, that's a great passage of scripture, but like I said, it's probably not about food at all. This passage of scripture was most likely written to the Babylonian exiles. And it was either during or perhaps before the Babylonian exile. And what was happening was the people of Israel were becoming distracted by the other offerings that were out there in the world around them, the other gods, the other rituals, the other things that they thought would bring satisfaction to their life. And so what was happening was, rather than focusing solely on who God was and what God was bringing them and how God was truly the fulfillment of their life, they become distracted by junk food, by things that did not satisfy. In fact, I love the way Eugene Peterson puts it in his Message version of Scripture. He says this, he says, "Hey there, all who are thirsty, come to the water. Are you penniless? Come anyway and buy and eat. Come buy your drinks, buy your wine and milk, buy without money. Everything is free. Why do you spend your money on junk food, your hard-earned cash on cotton candy? Listen to me, listen well. Eat only the best. Fill yourself only with the finest." I mean, you can hear that in Eugene Peterson's version of that passage from Isaiah. This idea that we can be distracted by junk food and try to fill ourselves with junk food when wonderful, satisfying, nutritious food is right there. Isaiah is trying to tell those who are exiled in Babylon, quit distracting yourselves with those junk food offers that are out there in the world. Because our world is full of junk food offers. Things that we think will satisfy us, things that we think will fill us up, things that we think will make life meaningful, when in reality, 2 minutes later, 5 minutes later, we find ourselves hungry again, and we find our bodies being depleted of the energy and everything else we need, and our spirit being depleted as well. So, I don't know, maybe the way to remember this is the next time you're sitting down to a meal that is satisfying. I'm not talking about a fast food meal. I'm talking about the next time you're sitting down to a meal that is truly satisfying. Imagine yourself feasting on the person of God, who fills you up, who truly makes you whole, who truly gives you the things that you need. And then the next time you find yourself out at McDonald's or something like that, and you're eating junk food, think about how perhaps that is a metaphor for how we need to not spend our lives, to really take the time to fill ourselves up with the fullness of who God is in our lives.